Newsflash, you don't own YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. In hindsight, that newsflash was completely unnecessary because realistically, who was watching this and thought, do I not own YouTube or TikTok? Obviously, you know you don't own those platforms. The reason why I had such a dramatic opening to this video was because I'm trying to make a point that the audiences that you have amassed on your YouTube or your Instagram or your TikTok are not owned by you, which means that they can be taken away from you literally at the drop of a hat, which is a really scary thought. Makes me, it like triggers anxiety when I think about the ideas of all my platforms being shut down for no reason. But we've all heard the stories, right? Like someone's Instagram account gets shut down when they've reached 100,000 followers, or, you know, someone's YouTube has, you know, 1 million subscribers gets shut down, all that kind of stuff. Like this happens on a regular basis and we all sit there thinking it's not going to happen to us, but one day it might. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it might happen one day. So what is the solution to this impending doom that all of your accounts might be taken away one day and you might have to start from scratch? Well, the solution is an email list. An email list is completely owned by you. If you don't know what an email list is, or you don't know what I mean, it's quite literally a list of the emails of all of your subscribers, your followers, your supporters, your fans, whatever you want to call them, your tribe, your advocates. It is a list of all of their email addresses. And by obtaining this list of email addresses and keeping in contact with them via email, you are providing yourself with a huge safety net. So if anything ever happens to your other platforms, you know that you still have a viable way to contact all of your true subscribers. And you can create a new platform in a second and you can get majority of those followers, subscribers straight back on that platform. But not only that, if you are an influencer and you're watching this, an email list is a really powerful way to earn more money from your brand collaboration. A really great way for you to earn more money from your brand collaborations, right? Because when you have an email list and you're negotiating with brands, if you tell a brand, you know what, I can do this story for you, I can do this YouTube video, but I can also send an email blast to 2,000 subscribers at an additional cost of £300, you've just landed yourself an extra 300 quid for a campaign what you're already working on. So it seems like a bit of a no-brainer, right? In this video, it's well overdue, so apologies to anyone who asked me for this like 6 months ago. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my top tips and tricks for how you can start building an email list in 2021. So if that's of interest to you, please keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to break these tips down into steps just to make the whole video really easy to digest and follow for you. So the first step, step one, is to pick an email platform. Now, I use ConvertKit. I have used others in the past. I actually still use MailChimp for my e-com stores, but for the nature of this video, if you are a personal brand, you're a service brand, you're an influencer, I would go with ConvertKit. MailChimp is better for like your e-com or your product-based stores, right? This isn't a sponsored ad, but I do have a link in my description, which is an affiliate link. So if you would be kind enough to use that link to ConvertKit, if you do want to sign up, I would be very grateful. But if not, you know, no hard feelings. But I do use ConvertKit. I think it's the best for this type of email list building. It's got great data incorporated. It's very easy to use. It's intuitive. And yeah, I completely swear by it now. So as I mentioned, the link is below. The reason why you need an email platform is because gathering all these email lists is not something you can do by hand, nor is it something that you can store by hand for various data protection reasons. And as a whole, you need to have a platform which is going to allow you to email all of your contacts at once without, you know, going on Outlook and putting everyone on your BCC. Email them all at once in a nice formatted template which looks really professional. So if you've ever signed up to someone else's mailing list, then you would have noticed that a lot of the time these lists look super suave, like just super professional, right? They are really well formatted. They are addressed to you. So it might say, "Hi, Jade." This is something that you're able to do at mass and at scale when you use an email building platform. Otherwise, you would quite literally need to email everyone one by one and be like, "Hey, Sarah, how are you today?" Like 1,000 times. No one has time for that. So email building platforms allows you to personalize your emails at scale and allows you to format your emails so they look great. You can embed videos, you can embed links, you can do loads of really cool stuff. So that's basically why I recommend that you choose an email platform, and I 100% recommend that you check out ConvertKit. Step 2, you need to decide what your email content is going to be. So building your email list isn't just a process of building a list and then just leaving it alone. You know, you can't just build a list with 2,000 people and then just be like, cool, got them now. You actually have to communicate with them on a regular basis, ideally a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So you need to figure out what is your content going to be about in these emails. So I'm going to give you a few examples. My content is about social media and entrepreneurship. So I will email my email list on a semi-regular basis. I need to get better at it, but on a semi-regular basis with new information on Instagram, on YouTube, on entrepreneurship, my top tips, that kind of stuff, just to give them value and to give them a reason to continue to read my emails and say subscribe to my list. Now, if you're in the beauty or the fashion niche, what your emails could be about is the top finds from your past week. It could be a collation of all of your best outfits from the past week with easy to follow links for people to purchase them. It could be your top sales of the week, your top finds of the week, all of that kind of stuff. Make it related to your niche, but provide value in some way. If you're in the fitness niche, your weekly content could be all about your top workout for the week. That's what you could share. It could be a video that you link to, or it could be literal photos of you doing each pose in detail so that every week someone has a new challenge or a new workout to try the next time they go to the gym or the next time they work from home. So those are just some examples which hopefully are going to spark some inspiration for you regardless of your niche. The main thing to follow here is whatever content you decide to share, it needs to provide value, because otherwise they're not going to continue to subscribe to you. So step 3 is actually the process of getting these emails on your list. Now, there are simple things you can do, like including a link to join and sign up to your email list in your link in bio. If you are going to do that, then make sure the call to action, marketing buzzword, which is basically literally text what's telling someone to do something, right? Make sure that is really punchy. Don't just put join my email list. That's not really enough of a draw for someone. Put something like receive my weekly top 5 picks here, or stay up to date with my favorite workouts here, right? That's what you should do, something like that, what's going to make people actually think, oh, I actually do want to join that because I can see the value I'm going to get from it. So that's just an easy thing that you could do. What I also recommend that you do is to actually create something what's going to drive people to sign up. So there's actually a mechanic around it. Now, one thing what I did which worked really well for me is that I hosted a competition, and that was on my hashtag video. I'll link to it up here in case you've not watched it before. During this video, I said to people, look, I'm going to run a monthly rolling competition where if you follow these few steps, I'm going to give you a free Instagram audit, right? So one of the steps involved in that competition and in that entry mechanic was to join my mailing list, which meant that I now continuously get up to 100 people joining my mailing list every month because they're entering that competition. And because that video is a YouTube video, it's evergreen, it continuously gains more and more views every month, which means that I continuously gain more and more subscribers every month until the competition ends at the end of the year. So that's one mechanic that I've used. Other mechanics that you can use are things like join my mailing list to win a voucher to this store, or join my mailing list to win this whole outfit, that kind of stuff. Another thing that a lot of people do, which is really, really, really successful in specific niches, is to provide a freebie. So if you're in some kind of service-based niche and you are helping people solve some kind of problem, dilute that problem to a really small stage. So say there's a huge problem that you help people do, but there's one particular bit that you know people need a lot of help with. It's very small and it's very easy to share via like a 10-page PDF. Maybe you consider giving the solution to that problem away for free in the form of a freebie. So you say to people, if you want to write your first ebook, if you watch my videos, you'll know for a fact that I was going to say something to do with books, because whenever I can't think of something, I look there and that is where my bookcase is, and therefore I come up with a book. So say if you coach people on how to create their first ebook and you have identified that there's one really small part of it, maybe it's picking the title of their ebook that they really struggle with, then maybe you create a 10-page PDF which is going to help people pick a name for their ebook. So it's a problem that you know people have, so people are going to want to join your mailing list in order to get access to it, but you're also not giving away your entire process, so there's still a reason for them to continue to subscribe from you and maybe even purchase your course or whatever you're selling at a later date. Okay, so now that you've selected a mailing list platform, you've figured out what your content series is going to be, you've even put a mechanic in place so that you're now actively gaining new subscribers to your mailing list. The next step you want to do, which is step 4, is to create a welcome sequence. Okay, so what a welcome sequence is, I'm going to have to give you this really brief because otherwise otherwise it's gonna be a really long video. A welcome sequence is essentially a series of automated emails that is sent to anyone who joins your mailing list. Now, this is only available on one of the paid programs of ConvertKit. I think it's the lowest paid one, so I don't think it's expensive, but it's not something what's available for free on any mailing list platform, to be honest. But it is, in my opinion, one of the most valuable parts of having a mailing list on a platform like ConvertKit. What I recommend you do is you use this automation feature to queue about 3 different emails, which are basically a welcome sequence. So the whole point is that you're guiding people through a series of communications which welcomes them to you, to your brand, to your mailing list, to everything, right? I have a couple of these, and because I target a few different groups of people, like influencers, entrepreneurs, etc., when people join my mailing list, they select like which category they fall into, and that selection triggers a different series of welcome emails. So if you sign up to me and you say that you are an influencer, you will get different welcome emails to someone who signs up to me and says they're using Instagram to build their business, right? So if you sign up to my mailing list and you indicate that you're an influencer, what's going to happen is that a series of emails are going to automatically be triggered to you, right? The first email that you're going to receive is going to be a welcome email. I'm going to be saying, hey, you're in the right place. I'm going to be sharing a bit about my story, what I've achieved, a little bit about how I've achieved it, and basically just making you feel like, you know, you've signed up to the right mailing list. I understand you and the troubles and the challenges that you've gone through. Stick with me because I'm going to help you. And then 2 days after that, you're going to receive another email from me where I'm going to start sharing value. It's going to be about influencing 101. I'm going to link to a video what's really of use and very interesting and is basically going to help you. And I'm going to really start to provide clear, actionable steps what's going to help you on your influencing journey. A couple of days after that, you're going to receive another email from me, which is going to be really high value. It's going to be about how you actually pitch to brands. I'm going to again link to a useful video, but I'm going to summarize the top tips that I use to land brand partnerships. And then a few days after that, I'm going to conclude my sequence by talking to you about the different services that I offer. So I'm basically just going to say, look, I know that you're a budding influencer. I really hope you found the content I've shared useful. If you know what, if they've clicked through that entire welcome sequence, and the chances are they did find it useful. So I'm basically just going to say, I have a program which has helped loads of influencers actually get them to the stage where they're pitching to brands and working with them, you know, dream brands on a regular basis. I have several programs that can help you get in touch if you're interested. Now, by no means do they have to get in touch. It's just me talking to my target audience about different ways that I could help them. But that will conclude the sequence. So from that point on, they'll just receive my regular communications about, you know, different videos I've uploaded, different tips and tricks that's going to help them, that kind of stuff. So that's an example of my welcome sequence. Yours will obviously be very different. What I recommend you do is sit down and you map out, okay, how am I going to introduce myself to this audience? How am I going to convince them that they're in the right place? And how am I going to demonstrate my value, right? So that's what you need to think about, break that down, and then that's when you need to start working on your own welcome sequence. And I swear by this. In my opinion, this is one of the most important parts of building an email list. It is really difficult to engage people into your email list just by adding them and then just sending them your weekly emails off the jump. Like, you've not built a relationship with them yet. They don't know who you are properly yet. Like, you need to put in more work. You've got to start grafting. The fifth and final step that I want you to do is to stick to your promise. If you have said that I'm going to share weekly, bi-weekly, monthly content, which is going to help you on your fitness journey, what's going to help you find the best fashion finds, what's going to help you on your entrepreneur journey, whatever, then that's what you need to do. And that's something what I actually need to tell myself to do as well, because sometimes I'm not great at it, but it's something that you really need to commit to, because if you don't regularly contact your email audience, then they're going to forget about you and they're not going to open your emails all the time, and they're just going to become genuinely less valuable. So that is it for today's video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, and if you are a budding influencer, I recommend checking out this video. I literally break down step by step how to become an influencer in 2021. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.